For those that don't know, my name is Jordan Buckner. I am the founder of Foodbevy, an online community for food and beverage founders. And today we are talking about the launch of the Foodbytes Startup Program. So for some of you here, you might be here interested in understanding what Foodbytes is, why you should join the program, why you should apply, and how it might benefit your company. So what we're going to do is start off with a couple introductions and then go through an overview of what is Foodbytes, why you should join, and then we'll have a panel discussion with some of the recent Foodbytes alums so that you can hear directly from them about their experiences. I also participated in the Foodbytes program with T-Squares, gosh, 2-3 years ago now. It seems like I've lost track of time. I don't know how long ago that was, Hector, but can answer any and all of your questions there. So as always, if you have questions throughout the conversation, feel free to drop those into the chat and I will ask those and relay those to our panelists. And we'll also have some time at the end for those questions as well. So start thinking about those. All right, perfect. So let's jump into introductions. If I can, Kayla, how do you do an introduction first?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Kayla Castaneda. I'm CEO and co-founder of Agua Bonita. We make the first better for you aguas frescas on the market. And we use upcycled produce as we create our blends.
Excellent. Hector, why don't you go?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Hector Saldivar, and I'm the founder and CEO of Tia Lupita Foods. We are a better for you, healthy and authentic Mexican-inspired food brand that uses clean, simple ingredients in all of our products. And we are the first brand here in the United States to introduce nopales cactus as an alternative, functional, and sustainable ingredient in our line of tortillas and tortilla chips. And I participated in the Foodbytes pitch competition with Jordan back in 2019. It was 2019, before the craziness.
That's right. Excellent. And I'm excited because I know cactus has been everywhere now. You're helping to make that more mainstream. So
believe me, nobody's more excited of that happening than me. Literally.
I love that. And then we also have Dinesh.
Hey, hi everyone. Happy Monday. This is Dinesh Tadepalli, co-founder of Incredible Eats. I'm the we make edible cutlery in an effort to reduce single-use plastics. So looking forward to saving the planet with other new startups.
Excellent, Dinesh, and I love, you have the perfect entrepreneur background with all the spoons there right behind you, so I absolutely love that. And then we have Sonia from the Foodbytes team.
Perfect. I'm Sonia. I've been working on the Foodbytes program for a little over 2 years, and I'm mainly working to identify emerging trends in food and agriculture, like all of the products and technologies you're working on, and aligning our program with those trends to make sure we're bringing forward sustainable new solutions to food system challenges every year. So I'm excited to speak with you about the updates to our program this year and obviously hear from our startup alumni on the line about their experiences participating.
Awesome. That's excellent, Sonia. And with that, why don't we jump into an overview of what the heck is Foodbytes for those who have never heard and more about the program for this year.
Great. Okay, so Foodbytes is Rabobank's platform that connects startups with a vast network of corporates, investors, and mission-driven entrepreneurs to build a more sustainable food system. So each year we open an application for startups looking to create meaningful industry connections to scale their businesses. And we select 45 startups to take part in the program, which includes a week focused on mentorship tailored to each company's business sector and stage, including fundraising, go-to-market strategy, legal, advisory, vendor financing, aligned with the expertise of our corporate and investor members who you see pictured on the right-hand side of the slide. So we have upwards of 25 members who have signed on to take part in this Foodbytes program for 2021, and they are looking to connect with emerging companies that are solving these food system challenges and looking to create those connections through the Foodbytes program. So during Mentor Week, which is a 3-day sprint in October, we have that mentorship as well as trend and investment panels led by our members, and then one-on-one meeting slots that we help to align based on what a startup's goals are for participating in the program. After Mentor Week, the 45 companies submit a recorded pitch, which is refined throughout the mentorship process, and a panel of judges from our members select 15 finalists to move forward to the final stage, which is a public live stream of the 15 pitches in front of a live audience. So from these 15 companies, 3 winners are chosen at the end of the pitch, receiving a prize, including a consulting package from our select members. So that's an overview of our program and how the 45 companies really go through this sort of boot camp, getting to know the members as well as the fellow entrepreneurs, and creating the meaningful connections that they can take back from the program. So we're looking for our companies that are working with a robust and diverse team with experience in the industry and a diverse background. So in addition to having a validated business model where there's some traction in the market or pilot partners and customers for the company, we're for the first time aligning our criteria with the sector focuses that we're hearing from our members. So on that third slide, we have listed out a couple of sector focuses that are really key to our members' strategies when they're thinking about how to innovate their own businesses and create more sustainability in their processes. So this includes sustainable supply chains, improved resource management, and the next frontier of nutrition, which speaks to, I think, all of the products or all of the companies that you represent on this speaker panel here. So under supply chains, we're looking at traceability technology, including blockchain, improved animal health like feed efficiency and livestock management systems, and upcycled products. Under resource management, we're thinking about farm practices, regenerative farming and carbon sequestration technologies, reducing water and waste in food production, and creating more sustainable packaging. And then lastly, the next frontier of nutrition, we're looking at new ingredients that have functional properties, can act as food as medicine, plant-based protein and beyond, when we're thinking about plant-based lipids and fibers and incorporating those into new food products. And then lastly, biotechnology within food, and how to create a more functional and cleaner process around a final product. So that's the overview of what we're really looking for and the process for getting involved in Foodbytes. And I'm sure there are many questions that I can answer after we hear from the others.
Excellent. Thanks so much for the overview. I think one thing to keep in mind for everyone, so about Rabobank and Foodbytes, they have a larger kind of focus on the food, ag tech, and CPG space as well. And so that's why you see some companies kind of more on the food and food ag tech side, and then also those on the CPG side. I think most of those that we have in our audience now are CPG founders. And so I'd say pretty much, I'm kind of looking through our list here, most of you who are in the audience do qualify, especially more under the food sections down towards the bottom as well. And so I encourage all of you to apply, and we'll send out the information on that towards the end. But Sonia, maybe if you could give a just quick overview of Rabobank as well, and kind of why creating the Foodbytes program.
Yeah, so Rabobank has a deep history in the food and ag industry. So a lot of our clients are the larger food and ag companies that are looking to become more sustainable and more resilient in the face of a lot of challenges that especially were exposed this past year. So Foodbytes is a way to create a pipeline or view into what sustainable technologies are coming out from startups who are agile and responding to challenges in the food system more quickly than potentially they're able to do themselves, and how they can create relationships with entrepreneurs to address their own challenges in their businesses. So Foodbytes is sort of a connector between those two parties to make sure that we're creating the most value that we can, and thinking about startups as potential future clients of Rabobank and how we can leverage the relationships we already have with larger food players to scale the growth among the startups that are in our program.
Excellent. I love that. And then in terms of the kind of benefits or like the winnings, we'll kind of go into details on like the why behind participating, but so if you can talk about like when you pitch or when you get selected, kind of what are the kind of takeaways, what do you kind of win as part of that?
Yeah, so for the 45 companies who are selected to go through the Mentor Week, a lot of the benefits there are from obviously the connections that are being made and the mentorship that you're getting out of it. So you can come in with a specific goal in mind, like to get advice or mentorship across certain areas of your business, but also to think about connecting with the larger corporates who are, or investors who are the members of the program. So that's one of the main benefits of the week of mentorship itself. But you also create relationships with the broader Rabobank network, which includes products that can be relevant for your business as you scale. So the Rabobank broader network has some relevant opportunities like representation through equity private placement. We also have some direct investment funds that focus on early food and ag investment. We also have a network of experts in the food and ag industry from our Rabo research teams that can help validate some of the questions you have in your own business and support you as you're thinking about next steps. So it's really this longer term relationship that is being built through the program. So we have our growing network of 350 plus alumni companies who we keep in touch with and make sure that we're across their updates as they're growing, connecting them in with the right opportunities. And it's really beyond the pitch week itself is really how we see us providing value to all of our alumni startups as well.
Excellent, love that. And so, yeah, definitely lots of great benefits there. No like $50,000 or $100,000 check that you'll walk away from with winning, but definitely access to some really great resources and mentors in the industry, which are incredibly valuable. Perfect, Sonia, thanks so much. So now I'd like to turn it over to the fellow alumni. So Hector and myself went through the in-person pitch program back in 2019. Last year and this year, the pitch has been and will be virtual, and the mentor week will be virtual, which our guests, Dinesh and Kayla, went through the virtual program. And so we'll start with kind of Hector, just to get a sense of what the program was like before. What was your experience going through the mentor week and the pitch experience?
I mean, for me, it was out of this world. I mean, previously to Foodbytes, I had already pitched my brand in an inaugural competition in San Francisco for the naturally Bay Area, and but it did not even come to the toes of that. I mean, just Foodbytes, the level of organization, the level of exposure, the level of education and mentorship that I got from there, it was completely, for me, it was eye-opening. Like, this was nothing like what I pitched before, like the whole experience. And no, for me, I took a lot. We were fortunate to also win, which was also fantastic, and so that's a double whammy, right? It's almost like the winning the parlay in Las Vegas, and so I just, you know, it was big. So many things, so many positive things came to Tia Lupita Foods after Chicago 2019 September Foodbytes.
I love that. So talk about kind of like who you were able to like meet with during the mentor week and those sessions, and you know what those conversations were like for you.
Right. So, you know, we had quite an extensive team of people that are experts in their own specific realm, like route of market and business designing and business planning with Elliot, and we had people from I think it was Pasanelli, the law firm, or just talking about us about all the legal aspects of starting a business, from how to what trademark registrations and structuring and raising money and all that stuff. And it's also from the investor side of things, what are they looking for, and what are the good metrics to have, and all that stuff. But for example, for me, thanks to Foodbytes, I was able to partner with Elliot Began, who's the founder of TIG, or the Intertwine Group, which is I guess a brand accelerator. And for me, he and I clicked. I have a biological father back in Mexico. Elliot has become like my business father, right? I talk to him, if it's not every day, at least once a week, and because of him, we've been able, to seriously put some good stepping stones of growth, and a bottoms up plan for growth, and has been integral in raising money, as well as the whole the whole Rebel Bank team as a whole. Nina Myers has been super involved, and Mark Rickman and Nader. They have a universe of people they know, network and capital and expertise, and meeting everyone, and they all just want to help. They all just want truly the best interest in you. They want to help, and they want your brand to succeed, because if you succeed, it helps the world. It helps the food ecosystem. It helps us provide a little grain of sand to make this world a little better. And no, so it's awesome. And then because of one, I was also able to participate in the Foodbytes Summit in New York late in December, and that was another so like you said, Jordan, like maybe you're not, if you win, you're not walking with a $10,000 check or whatnot. You walk with more than that, regarding just experience and networking. And if you win, for them to invite you to the Foodbytes Summit, where all their top customers from all over the world are in one room, and you get to talk to them and share dinner, and you hear from, they have guest speakers. For me, that time they had Mark Damon from Shark Tank, and they have like other people, but it was again, I was in a kid in a taco store.
I love that. Awesome. So love hearing about the experiences. Kayla, how about for you? What was the experience like going into the startup program? I guess even too, like, what were your expectations, and then what did you kind of get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of sentiments on our side are mirrored from Hectors Experience, but for us, it was our very first pitch competition. And so we had just started Agua Bonita just like a few months prior to participating in Foodbytes. So we didn't have any expectations. We weren't sure what to expect at all. And it was a really good crash course in setting us up for any programs or anything that we go through now, because it was just like a whirlwind experience, but of just coming across a ton of people that want to help. And so we were able to really get a better idea about what investors are looking for, even what should be all included in your pitch when you start to do these kinds of competitions or talk to investors. And then, just the whole network, it is its own universe in the way that there are, a connection for anyone that you may need, you can probably find through the network there. So for us, it was just really great, like crash course and getting set up for a lot of things that we were trying to put in place for our business. But then it was also really good exposure for us because it was one of the first times that we were introducing our brand on a larger platform. And from that experience and going through the program, yeah, we were able to reach more people and start conversations that we would have not have had before. So yeah, so even though we were very new and still are very new, it was an invaluable experience for us.
Awesome. And what was it like going through the program online? I mean, I guess it's probably easier since like everything is online these days. But what was that experience like?
Yeah, well, for my co-founder and I, we both have little ones at home. So actually going through it online was very much preferred. We probably wouldn't have been able to go through the program if it wasn't online, to be honest, just because of the age of our little ones. So being able to do that and be at home and really like set aside the time to soak in everything that was happening without having to do the travel, I think it actually helped us connect with people even more, because we were able to like just have everyone's contact information or breakout rooms and stuff like that. We got to talk to people that maybe we might not have caught at a conference setting, but we were able to just like chat them or send them an email and set up those meetings afterwards. So for us it was really great, because yeah, we were just able to connect with everyone.
And then were there any like sessions that you attended that you felt made a big impact on your business or your strategy?
Yeah, I would say we went through a couple different sessions that were really impactful for us. Most of them, the most impactful ones for us, centered around investors and investment like expectations. It really started to give us an idea of certain KPIs that we needed to be hitting or keep in mind, to have those conversations with some robust information to present, and just to better carve out maybe what a path looks like for us, and like different investment tiers, and what that looks like when you're just starting off is really important, I think, to like help set some goals for the next year or two. So any breakout that we went to that centered around investors and like what they were looking for was very helpful for us.
I love that. And then were you able to make any like, what are the connections like with other like brands or other founders? Were they kind of open to helping? What was that experience like?
Yeah, everyone, I mean, this sounds so cliche, but everyone was super nice. Hector, he mentioned Nina at Rabobank being like very, very helpful with just everything. I know she's not a founder, but she's been great at just like connecting us with anyone that we might have needed to connect with. And then even we connected with Willa's Oat Milk, and we have other people in our network that ended up needing some expertise, but we were able to be like, oh, well, actually, I know someone that might be able to help you just through the program. You know what I mean? So we've been able to like be an extension of the network and leverage our new connections with other founders to help other people in our network. So everyone has been very open to helping and very nice.
Oh, that's great. Dinesh, how about you? What's your experience been like going through the program?
Yeah, so I second what Kayla and Hector said. It's absolutely a very enriching experience participating in the Foodbytes, both at the 45 startups and also the top 5 selection. The one thing I would like to mention is we are very new to the food industry. By background, we are engineers, and I actually noticed a lot of food companies that started by non-food folks. So and these like Foodbytes actually helped us a lot more. It made us like gave us a crash course of a master's degree in food industry and how it works. So that was very, very useful. And all the sessions were actually catered to let a founder know that, okay, what are all the other things, not just about sales, venture capitalist and investments, but for example, like legal, right? There was a nice breakout session and also a mentor session from a legal representative. So we did not have, I mean, as a newbie to the food industry, I did not know, okay, we need to get these agreements done before we even continue to safeguard ourselves in the future. So what agreements need to be done? Do we have patents, or do we have like any proprietary recipes that we can safeguard? So all these things were very useful and very like educational for us. And on coming back to the connections and network, it has absolutely an amazing network. I can give you two examples that led to great things for us as Incredible Spoons, as being a new startup. One was a peer startup introduced us to an accelerator program, and we applied immediately and we got selected and we got invested. That's our first check, by the way. So this happened through Foodbytes, like just knowing the other startups in the selections. And the second one was it's even better one. So a venture capitalist saw the product, he liked it, he just pinged me on the side. Like, again, that's an advantage of virtual, right? Everyone knows who you are and they can immediately contact you. They don't have to search for you in the crowd and go and find you and talk to you. So they just ping me on the side and they're like, hey, you should apply to this particular accelerator program that's happening in Japan. It doesn't invest money in it, but it gives you good connections to the big companies in Japan. So it was interesting. I went and applied and went and spoke to got connected with all the people there. And after 2 months, I was already talking to the top 5 food chains in Japan. So it was very fast. I mean, it grew so fast. I didn't notice the power of connections or network at that time. But as I scaled up, I mean, obviously we have to do our own good work of going on LinkedIn, and Nina and Carolyn, yeah, and Sonia, all of these guys are amazing. So you just go ping them, message them, hey, I'm looking for this connection, I need to talk to them. So they'll do your best to actually give the connections. So
that's so great to hear, and congratulations on getting the investment, the accelerator programs, and talking to these larger companies. It's so good to hear.
Thanks. Yes.
Yeah, I've always had that. You know, what are the pros and cons of virtual versus live? And I think Dinesh just mentioned a good portion of pros for sure. That's good to hear.
Yep. Yeah, Hector, I agree that I miss meeting people in person.
For me,
life.
Yeah, exactly. For me, I need that energy. I need that feedback to react. But yeah, no, but that's the pros of virtual. Your information is right there, and you know there is no crowd. I mean, it was a world when after the pitch, you know. Again, like I said, Rabobank does such a good job with press and PR and bringing all these people. It's like such a crowded room. I don't know if you remember, Jordan, but it was crowded and
yeah, it was packed.
There's food and booze and everybody's exciting and high-fiving and so yeah, you can barely remember it. Yeah, I can barely remember anything I faced from that night, right? So yeah.
No, that's amazing. And I think that really talks to the benefits of experience. So at this point, I'd love to invite anyone up to ask a question to our panelists. If you have a question, just go ahead and raise your hand or just type question into the chat and I'll ask you to unmute. And you can jump up here and ask a question directly to our panelists, or just if you like, you can type the question directly into the chat. Anything from the experience, the benefits, how to apply. I actually just posted the link to apply in the chat. The deadline is Sunday, May 16th, that you can go on directly there. But yeah, we're gonna open up to any questions that people have. I think while we're waiting for some questions, you know, I'll kind of sum up some of the main benefits to applying for the program. You know, by the time I participated, 2019, I was about 4 years into my business with T-Squares, and got to meet a ton of resources, lots of people in the food industry, and I felt like I had a pretty good network already at that point. But it was interesting because when I met the Foodbytes group, their network was more expansive and actually had different and new people who I wouldn't have met otherwise than in the typical startup arena. And so I think there's a huge benefit there in terms of like, if you think like, I know like a fair number of people and the players in the industry, I actually found myself meeting a lot new and more people that way. And then I think the second part, as Hector, you mentioned as well, there's a lot of PR and press that comes from participating, and especially for pitching, for winning. But even if you don't win, I know we pitched and Hector like blew everyone away, but no, it's all good. We like with T Squares, we still got a ton of press from
Dude,
well.
all the presentations were awesome. I don't know how the judges. I mean, I'm sure they have a great brand. All the presentations were awesome. I remember your presentation really well. Benjamina with what's her
Higher stakes,
higher stakes and the spirulina. You know the pet food. What's it called?
Shameless Pets.
Shameless. I remember there was like this is like high level stuff, right? Like, and then the really well developed brands. That's one of the things that I was nervous is that I think I was one of the younger companies. I think I just barely had like a year and a half in business, but I think the Rabobank team took a shot because the story of Cactus, introducing it and all the sustainability and all the benefits that it has, right? And it was really important to tell that story. And so and to your point, about winning or not winning, just a recommendation. And I don't know how things work in virtually, but live, if you want to engage with judges and an audience, always start, try involving humor in some way, shape, or form, because that's a real in. That brings in the attention. You remember that there's 15 or 14 brands pitching at the same time, and it's hard for judges and the audience to pay attention to all that content. So if you start with something with an interesting tidbit or a catchy phrase or something fun that just pays their attention, then you're off to a good start for a successful pitch.
That's a really great suggestion there. Appreciate that.
Yeah, another point on like the whole PR and press that comes from just participating. I know for us, we didn't win, but we still were able to get in front of people that we wouldn't have connected with. And then we started getting booked for podcasts. We got like a write-up in Well and Good. And then from that, we have actually like a big brand partnership launching this summer. I can't say just yet, but it all came from our exposure at Foodbytes, you know what I mean? So even if you don't win, you never know who's watching, and you never know like what that rolls into for your business later. Because for us, it just ended up being all of these other opportunities to get in front of other folks and get some really good brand partnerships.
I love that. Sonia, a couple questions came in. First was from Pat. Does Foodbytes only have one cohort per year, or are there multiple cohorts?
Yeah, so we have the one pitch program per year. So that's scaled down in the number of programs per year, but we normally had 15 companies, as Hector was mentioning, per event for our physical events. Now that it's one virtual experience, we've expanded that to 45. So that is one a year. But we do have other programming touch points throughout the year, like webinars and other panels that we would invite some alumni to speak on, depending on the topic. So there's other ways to engage throughout the year. And the Foodbytes team is always available to hear your updates on regular calls and think about other ways to introduce you to our corporate investor partners outside of that program. But yes, it's that one program a year.
Perfect. And then is there a minimum level of starting that your company has to be to apply or get selected? Do you have to have a product in market, or can it still just be at the ideation stage? What's kind of the minimum?
Yeah, we're looking for products that are in the market. I'd say we have a pretty flexible range on historical funding or sales. To date, generally, we say our range is C to Series B on the funding side. And then for a consumer product, we're looking at sales of, let's say, between 500,000 to $1 million. But it's not a hard and fast rule. It's more about how well you fit with the holistic criteria and what our members are looking for at the time, and how you plan on potentially scaling into their businesses. So it's more about that overlap and moment in time, I'd say. So don't be intimidated by any of the ranges that we have in our criteria.
Perfect. That's great to know. Excellent. So any other questions that our audience has, feel free to jump on in and ask those. Make sure I didn't miss any.
I'll just actually offer, while we're waiting, information about how we select the 45 companies. So we do use that set of criteria that is listed on there, and we go through 2 different rounds of scoring. So we take our total applications and then review that internally by Rabobank and our Rabo Research Group and our affiliated funds, for example, and take that to about 50% of the applications. And we share those 50% with our members. So that's sort of a built-in benefit, I think, of applying in the first place, is that if you're in this top 50%, you will be put forward in front of our corporate investor members, and they'll look at your application, whether or not you do get to that 45. There have been cases where a member has reached out to a company that has applied just because they saw some overlap in what they're looking for there, even if it wasn't directly fit for the program at the time. So then from those top 50%, obviously we get to the 45 companies based on our member feedback, and then select those for the program. Then they go through that second round of getting to the 15 and pitching live. But really all 45 are considered part of our alumni network and have equal access to all of the benefits that come with that.
I love that. And then Anne has a question. How many companies typically, like how many applications do you get?
We get around 350 applications. This year we're targeting 350 to 400 applications. So then the top 200 are really the ones that are sent to our members for review, to put it in context.
Perfect. Awesome. So if there's any other questions, we're going to wrap up in a couple minutes. Jump on, add those into the chat. But Sonia, how can people learn more? Can you talk about the application deadline, and so they can kind of get started, and what that application looks like?
Yeah, of course. So our application is live on the Foodbytes website. That's foodbytesworld.com. It's probably also easy to find if you Google Foodbytes and go to the apply page. The application should take about an hour, I'd say, and there's a couple optional components, which includes submitting a pitch deck if you already have one, or a 60-second video. Throw in some humor in there for sure. That we love to see that. And you can fill out other information about your company. It shouldn't take more than an hour in our experience, but the deadline, as Jordan posted in there, is May 16th. There is no fee to apply, just your time. There's no fee to participate in the program. Also, just again, the time commitment, which hopefully is a little bit more flexible with our virtual program this year. And I'm always available for any questions you have as you're filling it out. Just shoot me a note. My information should also be somewhere on that apply page.
Excellent. And then how about non-US companies apply?
Yes, of course. So we're a global program looking for the new products and technologies across the globe, and how we can help scale either into other regions or into the food and ag industry if you're not already operating in it. So it's all about, I think, how you would like to utilize Rabobank's network through the Foodbytes program, which is global. So we encourage everyone to apply, and we actually have some goals for our applications this year, which include a regional breakdown. So on the slides that Jordan had put up, it had in there that we're looking for representation from all regions, And again, like diversity of background and experience is one of the criteria that we look at for the application as well.
And Sonia, what makes a standout application as the team is reviewing it?
I think it's a couple of things. This year specifically, we are looking at those areas of interest based on our member group. So strong alignment with some of their goals, and even mentioning potential collaborations that you could see with some of those members would stand out as a clear overlap with our goals as Foodbytes and then your goals as a startup who are scaling. I think also being very intentional and clear about how Rabobank itself can help you in the future. Again, we're looking for long-term relationships to build with you all as growing companies, and hope that you can see a future of Rabobank helping you in your business and scaling. So understanding all of the products and benefits that we have to offer to the alumni network. And then I think the sustainability component is really core to everything that Rabobank does, everything that Foodbytes is trying to do. It's really articulating how your product or technology can have a lasting positive impact on creating a more resilient food system is, I'd say, one of the key messages to get across in your application.
That's awesome. And so I think for everyone listening to, like, any unique ingredients that you're using, any ingredients that have a great kind of story to them, that are regenerative, that are interesting, if you're using any sustainable materials in your packaging, I think all those really stand out to the team, and for them to say, like, oh, that's really interesting. And brands who are looking to kind of make a difference in the world as well. And then Sasha had a question to clarify. Is there, I think as you mentioned, there's not that you're kind of looking for brands generally like $500,000 in revenue or more, but brands below that can still apply, right?
Yeah, they can certainly still apply. That range is more for a easier alignment with the types of investors that are members of the program. When we're thinking about early stage VC, that seed to Series B stage, generally from the product side, we see revenue ranges within that, but we encourage everyone to apply, because if the concept is really innovative and we haven't seen anything like it, need to have it on the platform, we'll certainly take that jump.
And Sasha, we were doing under $500,000 when we applied and got accepted into the program. So that is true. They do bring people in.
Us too.
So all three.
Yeah.
So a lot of us. So don't use that as a disqualifier. Yeah, and I do encourage everyone to apply, even if you're like on the fence or worry about like, yeah, do I kind of fit in with one of the kind of topic areas? I'd encourage everyone to apply who's listening in. All right, perfect. So we'll go ahead and wrap things up here. I don't know if any of our panelists had any closing thoughts or things that they wanted to share.
Sorry, go ahead, Kyla.
No, I was just going to say the only thing that I would suggest for anyone looking to apply is do all the optional things that are on the application, especially if you're really early like we were. Those optional portions will help your application. So just do them is my advice.
I was gonna say, I don't see a downside of applying. Just apply, go for it. If you're afraid of pitching, like they mentor you through this process. Even the judges, rehearse with you the questions that they're going to ask you. I mean, there's no exhibiting or catching you off guard, right? It's the opposite. They want to help you. They want to elevate it. They want to elevate you. They want your brand and you to succeed. So yeah, for me, there is no downside in applying. Apply, go for it. And if you missed it, if you didn't make the cut, try next year again.
Just to add with what Hector and Kayla said, yes, please do apply, and there's a lot of opportunities that you can come across to, and even if you are just even if you're just selected for the first 45, the alumni network is really, really great. So there's a lot of benefits that you should. I mean, it's not that hard, I guess. I mean, but again, as Kayla mentioned, please make sure that all the points mentioned in the application are actually covered, and do your. I mean, just connect with other startups, and if you have any other questions, you can approach us.
Excellent. Thanks so much, everyone, for participating. It's great to see all your faces and hear your voices. So thanks so much for everyone listening in. Again, make sure you save that application link that's in the chat. I'll be sending it out again with a follow-up email and video recording, and then also the pitch deck that Sonia shared as well, so you can have all the information. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to any of us, and happy to help and answer those. You can always reach me by email by replying to the event invite email. And hope everyone has a great rest of your Monday and a great week ahead. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye.